Chapter 48, A Family of Three. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shi Qianying picked up Ji Yanran and said, Sister Xiaoying didn't cry. As long as your brother is here, no one dares to bully me. Ji Yanran nodded and said, yeah, if someone bullies you in the future, just tell me and I will ask my brother to protect you. What the child said was childish, but also the most sincere. Shi Qianying was moved again and said, Thank you Yanran. Ji Yanran waved her hand and said, You're welcome, we are a family. Ji Wufeng put down Shi Qianying's things and said with a smile, Sister Xiaoying will live here from now on, and we will really be a family from now on. Really? That's great. Ji Yanran jumped up happily and said, Then I can be with Sister Xiaoying every day. Okay, hurry up and finish your homework. I'm going to cook. Shi Qianying didn't bother to clean up her salute and hurried into the kitchen to prepare dinner. After dinner was served on the table, Ji Yanran ran over after smelling the aroma and stretched out her chubby little hand to eat. Shi Qianying slapped her over and said, It's so unhygienic and I'm not afraid of diarrhea. Go wash your hands quickly. Ji Yanran said with a sad face, It's tragic. Mom used to be in charge, but now Sister Xiaoying is in charge. Shi Qianying pretended to be angry and said, Your mother did it for your own good. Now that she's not here, of course I have to take care of it. Otherwise, you, a greedy little cat, will eat randomly and get a stomachache. You will need an injection when the time comes. What will you do? The injection hurts. I don't want it. I'm going to wash my hands. Ji Yanran was frightened and hurried to the bathroom to wash her hands. After dinner, Shi Qianying and Ji Yanran went to clean up the room. At this moment, Ji Wufeng's mobile phone received some videos and photos from Zhang Zhiyao, which were taken by Wu Hui. He did not expect that this Wu Hui was really wicked. Forget about destroying Huang Hai, but he treated Shiying like this, but for people like this who are inferior to pigs and dogs, even if you don't kill them, you are already taking advantage of them. Later, Zhang Zhiyao called and said respectfully, Master Feng, are you satisfied with how things were done? If you are not satisfied, I will ask Wu Hui to go again. No, I'm very satisfied. Ji Wufeng said. Zhang Zhiyao added, Master Feng, one more thing. I know that Miss Shi is studying music. This time the Fu family held a music talent show. I would like to ask Miss Shi if she is interested in participating. Calculating the time, Shi Qianying became a blockbuster in this draft competition. She did not expect that the organizer would be the Fu family. Okay, help me sign up for her. Ji Wufeng said. When Zhang Zhiyao heard this, he was overjoyed and said, Young Master Feng, please rest assured, Miss Shi. She doesn't have to worry about anything. She only needs to attend a formality when the time comes. I guarantee that the championship will be hers. Ji Wufeng knew that he wanted to apologize. After all, Wu Hui, who almost hurt Shi Qianying, was his. There is no need for that. Xiaoying can completely win the championship with her own strength. I will not allow any behind-the-scenes operations to happen. Ji Wufeng said. Don't worry, Mr. Feng, I guarantee that this competition will be fair and just, and there will definitely be no shady events. Zhang Zhiyao said. After dinner the next day, Ji Yanran clamored for Shi Qianying to teach her how to play the piano. Girl, Sister Xiaoying is going to participate in the music competition in 2 days, so don't bother her during this period and let her practice well. Ji Wufeng said. Shi Qianying was stunned and said, I didn't say I wanted to participate in that music competition. Although she wanted to attend, her mother was going to have surgery soon and she really didn't have the energy to spare. Ji Wufeng smiled and said, Why don't you participate? I've paid the registration fee for you. If you don't go, the money will be wasted. But my mother needs someone to take care of her at this time, and I really can't get away. Shi Qianying said. It doesn't matter. I know someone in the hospital. I can ask him to help take care of your mother, so that you can concentrate on participating in the game. Ji Wufeng did what he said, took out his phone and called MaleProtagonist. Sure enough, the Mei family had shares in the hospital and immediately arranged for a vice president. With his help, Shi Qianying's mother would be properly taken care of in the hospital. Zhang Zhijiang promised all the time on the phone. After hanging up, Ji Wufeng looked at Shi Qianying and said, "Now you can sit back and relax and go to the competition. I know that music is not only your dream, but also your soul." This sentence was not said by Ji Wufeng. It was said by Shi Qianying herself on the stage where everyone was watching. Shi Qianying's heart trembled. Many people knew that she liked music, but Ji Wufeng was the first person to understand the status of music in her heart. "Okay, I will definitely compete well," Shi Qianying said with firm eyes. Music used to be her dream and soul, but now it is what Ji Wufeng asked her to do. She feels that the latter is more important than the former. Ji Yanran clapped her hands happily and said, "Great, Sister Xiaoying is going to be a big star." Shi Qianying smiled and shook her head. "That's not certain. Maybe I will be eliminated during the audition." Ji Yanran quickly shook her head and said, "No way. Sister Xiaoying is so beautiful, sings well, and plays the piano so well. If you are eliminated, it must be because those people have no vision." Ji Wufeng also nodded and said, "Yes, we believe in you so much, so you have to believe in yourself even more." The next day was the weekend. After breakfast, Ji Wufeng said, "Girl doesn't go to school today. Let's go to the mall to fill some ingredients for the house and buy 2 summer clothes for girl." Ji Yanran immediately jumped up happily and said, "That's great. If Sister Xiaoying comes with me, I will definitely be able to buy beautiful clothes. My brother has such bad taste. Every time he picks out clothes for me, they are so ugly." "Oh." Ji Wufeng's face suddenly darkened and he glared, "You heartless girl, I will buy you whichever dress is ugly later." "No, Sister Xiaoying, I don't want ugly clothes." Ji Yanran took Shi Qianying's arm and said aggrievedly. Shi Qianying smiled and said, "Don't worry, Sister Xiaoying will help you choose later." Seeing that Shi Qianying agreed to go with her, Ji Yanran secretly winked at Ji Wufeng. This was what the brother and sister had agreed upon yesterday. Shi Qianying was going to participate in the competition, but she didn't even have any decent clothes. But if Ji Wufeng gave her money, she would definitely not take it, so he would just use Ji Yanran as an excuse to buy her a few pieces by the time, and there was no way to refuse. The 3 of them took a taxi to the largest shopping mall in Yulio. Ji Yanran held Ji Wufeng's hand and Shi Qianying's hand. Their faces were full of happiness. As soon as they appeared, they immediately captured everyone's attention, especially Ji Yanran, who is as beautiful as a little fairy. Who wouldn't like such a little girl? Someone immediately said with envy, "Oh, what a beautiful little girl. I wish I could give birth to a child like this." Forget it. Children are beautiful because of their good genes. Have you ever seen someone's parents look prettier than the other? Obviously, they were misunderstood as a family of 3. Shi Qianying is a standard beauty, and Ji Wufeng is not bad either. Especially his special temperament makes him even more attractive. It is normal for the 2 of them to give birth to a child as beautiful as Ji Yanran. Chapter 49, Dog Eyes Look Down on People. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shi Qianying suddenly blushed and subconsciously glanced at Ji Wufeng. When she found that he had no reaction at all, she couldn't help but feel disappointed. "The stinking beggar is here again, hurry up and leave." Suddenly I heard a scolding, and when I looked up, I saw the security guard at the entrance of the mall chasing away a skinny, unkempt beggar. Ji Yanran once lived on the street. This scene instantly made her eyes turn red. She took Ji Wufeng's arm and said, "Brother, he is so pitiful. Let's help him." The girl spoke, and of course Ji Wufeng would not refuse and said, "Okay." She took some money and walked over. She immediately smelled a stench, but Ji Yanran didn't mind at all. She handed the money over and said softly, "You can use this money to buy some food." The beggar raised his head. The moment he touched his eyes, Ji Wufeng's eyes focused. This man was not very old, at most 20 years old, but his eyes were so sharp that even the innate powerhouse Qing next to Nalan Tianxi my aunt's eyes are not as sharp as this man's. How could such a person be reduced to such a situation? When the beggar saw Ji Yanran, his sharp gaze disappeared immediately. There was confusion in his eyes, and he shook his head dully. At this time, the security guard came over and said, "Little girl, you'd better not get close to him. He is a lunatic, otherwise I won't drive him away." Hearing this, Shi Qianying stood up and left. After a while, she held a bag of food in her hand, then handed it to the beggar and said, "You must be hungry, take it and eat it." Sure enough, the beggar saw the food in Shi Qianying's hand, snatched it away, and ate it hungrily. Ji Yanran walked away and bought 2 bottles of drinks and brought them over and said, "Don't worry, drink some water, be careful not to choke." Looking at the drink in front of him, the beggar raised his head again, looked at Shi Qianying and Ji Yanran carefully, then grinned stupidly, took the drink and drank it for a while, then hugged the food and wolfed it down again. Ji Wufeng said, "Let's go. He has a brain problem and is confused. We can only help him so much. If he was sane, you could give him some money or help him find a job, but he is a fool who doesn't even know how to take money. Apart from giving him food, he really can't help much." But Ji Yanran didn't want to leave, and said with red eyes, "Brother, he is really pitiful, can't we help him?" At this moment, a middle-aged man in a suit ran over sweating profusely. The security guard at the door immediately said respectfully, "Mr. Yang." The middle-aged man asked Ji Wufeng, "Is this Mr. Ji Wufeng?" "I am. Is something wrong?" "Hello, Mr. Ji, I am Yang Wenjie, the general manager here. Mr. Mei has told me that I must receive you well." Middle-aged humanity, MaleProtagonist had already told everyone that Ji Wufeng was the most distinguished guest of the Mei family, and the people in charge of his business had been notified long ago that they must receive Ji Wufeng well if they meet him. Yang Wenjie is the person in charge of this shopping mall. When Ji Wufeng and the others appeared at the door, he also noticed it and immediately ran over to greet them. Ji Wufeng thought for a while, pointed at the beggar in front of him and said, "Then do me a favor first. As long as he attacks people, let him stay here and provide him with some food every day." "Okay, no problem." Yang Wenjie immediately said to the security guard beside him, "Notify this matter immediately and implement it immediately." "Yes, Mr. Yang." Yang Wenjie looked at Ji Yanran and Shi Qianying and smiled and said, "Mr. Ji must be here for shopping. Why don't you let me show you the way?" Ji Wufeng shook his head and said, "I don't want to be public. You go and do your work first. I'll come back to you if anything happens." Women all love shopping. Even Ji Yanran, who was so young, was so excited when she knew she was going shopping. It would be boring if a stranger followed her. "Okay, then I won't bother you. This is my business card. If you need anything, I will be there immediately." Yang Wenjie knew that Ji Wufeng didn't want to follow him, so he left his business card and left. The 3 of them came to the children's clothing area. Ji Yanran didn't need to choose clothes at all. No matter what clothes she put on, she looked as cute as a little angel. After that, the 3 of them went to the adult clothing area. After walking around, Ji Wufeng went directly to the brand area. As soon as she entered the door, Shi Qianying was attracted by those beautiful clothes. Women are born to love beauty, and no woman can resist this temptation. In Ji Wufeng's impression, Shi Qianying once wore a long white dress on the stage. At that time, she displayed her beauty and elegance to the extreme. Sure enough, Shi Qianying stared at an elegant and simple white dress for a long time, unwilling to look away. "Miss, help me take off that dress and have a look." Ji Wufeng pointed to the long skirt and said to the salesperson. After the shopping guide took off the skirt, Ji Wufeng said to Shi Qianying, "Just try it on if you like it." Shi Qianying waved her hands and said, "No, I don't need to buy clothes. You can try it if you don't want to buy it. It doesn't cost any money anyway." Ji Wufeng said. As soon as the shopping guide heard this, his face immediately turned a bit unsightly, with disgust in his eyes, and he said, "If you don't want to buy it, there's no need to try it. It's annoying to look at a poor guy like this who can't afford it but wants to wear new clothes. How do you know if it's suitable without trying it? If it doesn't fit, what should I buy?" Ji Wufeng said displeased. No need to try, I won't buy it. Shi Qianying waved her hands. Ji Wufeng said, try it, I want to know if it looks good on you. Seeing what he said, Shi Qianying had no choice but to follow the shopping guide to the fitting room. From far away, Ji Wufeng heard the shopping guide muttering there, why does a poor guy come to join in the fun? I'm waiting for you in vain again. When Shi Qianying changed her clothes and came out, Ji Wufeng's eyes suddenly lit up. Even though he had seen countless beauties, he was still amazed. Shi Qianying is already very beautiful, and she looks even more delicate and charming when paired with white. The long skirt supports her slender and well-proportioned figure, making her whole person look like a blooming snow lotus. Wow, Sister Xiaoying is so beautiful, just like a fairy. Ji Yanran shouted. Ji Wufeng nodded and said to the salesman, I want this dress. Please wrap it up for me. But when the teacher Qianying saw the price on the tag, it was more than 6,000 yuan, she immediately shook her head and said, no, it's too expensive. The shopping guide's face immediately turned dark and he said, why try if you can't afford it? We have all brand name clothes here. If they are worn out, can you afford to pay for them? Ji Wufeng immediately became angry. He was really looking down on others. That's it, if you can't afford it, don't come in and rub your clothes around. Isn't it embarrassing? At this moment, a woman in coquettish clothes walked in. The shopping guide's eyes suddenly lit up, and he ran over and said with a smile, Miss Wang, welcome. As soon as the charming woman entered the door, she said with surprise, Shi Qianying. Shi Qianying also looked at the charming woman in astonishment, and said with an unnatural expression, Wang Caili, are you here? Wang Caili looked at the dazzling Shi Qianying, with envy, jealousy and hatred in her eyes, and said disdainfully, I bought the clothes. What are you doing here? Can you afford the clothes here? Chapter 50 Blast Out. You are listening at ModernDay. At this time, the shopping guide saw that Wang Caili didn't like Shi Qianying, so she stepped forward and said, Miss, since you can't afford it, just take off your clothes. We have expensive clothes here. If you wear them out, you'll have to wear them too. Compensation. Wang Caili sneered, don't say that. There are many young men pursuing her. As long as she goes to someone's bed, with her coquettishness, someone might buy the whole store for her. Shi Qianying was so angry that she trembled all over and said angrily, what nonsense are you talking about? This Wang Caili is Shi Qianying's classmate, and they study music together. However, when they appear together, men's eyes are always focused on Shi Qianying, and no one will ever notice her. This makes Wang Caili jealous. She was so filled with hatred that she even dreamed of trampling Shi Qianying under her feet. What nonsense did I say? You're a poor guy, what are you doing here when you have nothing to do? Is this a place where you can come? Wang Caili sneered, looked at Ji Wufeng, and said disdainfully, or have you climbed into someone's bed and are now rich? But it doesn't look like him, he's just a little bastard who just brought you in to satisfy your greed, right? You. Shi Qianying almost cried in anger, but Ji Wufeng patted her shoulder and said with a smile, okay, what's the point of being angry with a mad dog? If a dog bites you, do you want to bite it back? Wang Caili immediately became angry and said, asshole, who do you think is a mad dog? I am talking about you. Ji Wufeng glared. You. Wang Caili was shaking with anger and said to the shopping guide, call your boss here immediately. It was so lively outside, and the owner of the lounge at the back had already heard the commotion and came out, and said quickly, Miss Wang, what's the matter? Wang Caili pointed at Ji Wufeng and said angrily, what did you do? If you let these poor people in here who can't afford clothes and curse people, if you don't give me an explanation, don't even think about me coming back again. The boss immediately became anxious when he heard this. Wang Caili was a regular customer and spent at least tens of thousands every time she came. If she stopped coming in the future, the loss would be huge. Sorry, you are not welcome here. Please take off your clothes and leave immediately. The boss said with a gloomy expression. Xiao Feng, let me take off my clothes and let's go. Shi Qianying was going to the fitting room to take off her clothes. Don't take it off. Ji Wufeng grabbed her and said to the boss, I have decided to buy this dress, so I am a guest, why do you drive us away? The boss was stunned, but Wang Xili said sharply, Boss, I know them. They have no money to buy them at all. If you don't take them off now, it's equivalent to robbery. Why don't you call the security guard over and take off your clothes? At this time, the shopping guide also ran over and said, Yes, boss, they can't afford it at all. They just came in to wear clothes. Security guard, he originally hated those people who came to try on clothes after they couldn't afford them, and he was determined to please Wang Xili. The boss gritted his teeth and actually called the security guard. Immediately, 2 security guards rushed in. Before the boss could speak, Wang Xili pointed at Shi Qianying and said, You too, take off her clothes for me. Snapped. Ji Wufeng couldn't control it anymore, and suddenly reached out and slapped Wang Xili on the face with a big mouth. You bastard, how dare you hit me? Wang Xili covered her face and screamed. I'm sorry, you are so mean. I can't help but beat you even if I don't want to. Ji Wufeng said. Wang Xili suddenly jumped up, like a mad dog whose tail was stepped on, and howled to the boss, Are you fucking blind? I was beaten by you. If you don't give me an explanation, your store will be closed. The boss pointed at Ji Wufeng and angrily said to the 2 security guards, What do you do for food? Why don't you catch him quickly? The 2 security guards wanted to take action, but Ji Wufeng's eyes widened, and his cold eyes immediately scared the 2 security guards back away. Not daring to step forward, Ji Wufeng took out the business card Yang Wenjie had just given him. Unexpectedly, it would come in handy so quickly, and dialed the number on it. When Yang Wenjie learned about the situation here, he immediately said angrily, Mr. Ji, I'm going over right now. I believe you can handle things over the phone even if you don't come. Ji Wufeng said, If Yang Wenjie comes, things will become a big deal, and Shi Qianying is about to become a big star. If a reporter finds out about this matter, he may not know what he will write about it. Okay Mr. Ji, I will definitely give you an explanation for this matter. Ji Wufeng hung up the phone properly, and the boss's phone rang. When he saw it was Yang Wenjie, he immediately said respectfully, Mr. Yang, what's the matter? Yang Wenjie said in a gloomy voice, You shouldn't provoke the young man in front of you. If you can't satisfy him next, I guarantee you will have no place in Yulio. The boss's hand trembled, and he almost dropped the phone to the ground because he couldn't hold it firmly. He said hurriedly, Mr. Yang, don't worry, I will definitely give you a satisfactory explanation. After hanging up the phone, the boss walked up to Ji Wufeng, lowered his head and said in a trembling voice, Sir, I just looked down on you. Please forgive me. I will do whatever you ask me to do. Everyone was dumbfounded and didn't understand why the boss suddenly changed his attitude. Yang Wenjie is not only the person in charge of this shopping mall, but also a member of the Mei family. If Yang Wenjie prevents him from establishing a foothold in Yulio, he will not be able to get shit even if he wants to. The shopping guide was puzzled and said, Boss, why are you treating this pauper? Bang! The boss slapped her hard on the face and shouted, Get out of here, you're fired. Wang Xili was also stunned and said, Boss, why are you so crazy? The boss' face was ashen and he said, Miss Wang, you are not welcome here. Please get out immediately. Are you fucking sick? Are you driving me away for a poor guy? Wang Xili howled. What are you still doing? Blow her out. The boss said angrily to the 2 security guards. Miss, please get out. The 2 security guards immediately dragged Wang Xili out, and she shouted angrily, Shi Qianying, just wait, we are not done with this. The boss looked at Ji Wufeng tremblingly and said, Sir, look at this. He knew that his current fate was in Ji Wufeng's hands. As long as he said a word, all his years of hard work in Yulio would be over. Will become a lost dog. Ji Wufeng looked at Shi Qianying, who immediately said, Forget it. Ji Wufeng said calmly, Then forget it. When the boss heard this, he was overjoyed and hurriedly called to other shopping guides, Thank you so much. Come on, quickly pull out the best clothes in the store and put them on for this beautiful lady. Chapter 51 The Best Scumbag. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I tried on a few more clothes, but Shi Qianying was a natural dresser. No matter what style of clothes she put on, she looked fresh, refined, and pleasing to the eye. After feeling almost done, Ji Wufeng nodded with satisfaction and said, "Wrap up all the clothes she tried on. I want them all." Shi Qianying was immediately startled and said, No, just try it on. There's no need to buy it. The price tags on these clothes are frighteningly expensive, these pieces together cost tens of thousands. The boss quickly said, "Miss, please don't worry. I have shocked you just now. These clothes are given to you for free as an apology." No, how can this be allowed? Hearing that no money was required, Shi Qianying was even more reluctant to ask for it. Ji Wufeng said, "Let's do this, give me the biggest discount." The boss didn't dare to violate discipline Wufeng and immediately said, "Okay, then let's give it a 30% discount. It can't be any higher." Ji Wufeng smiled and said to Shi Qianying, "Did you see that? 30% off, we got a big advantage, there is no such store after passing this village." At this time, Ji Yanran also said, "Sister Xiaoying, these clothes look so good on you. If you don't want them, they will be very sad, because they may be worn on an ugly person in the future." The little girl's words made Shi Qianying laugh out loud, but she couldn't resist it, so she had to accept it. Including the clothes Ji Yanran bought, there were more than a dozen packaging bags. In order to please Ji Wufeng, the boss said, "Sir, you can't carry so many things. Why don't you give me the address and I'll have someone deliver them to you?" "Don't bother boss, we can get it ourselves." Shi Qianying said. The boss smiled and said, "Don't be polite to me. Our store's rule is that as long as you buy a lot of clothes, we will deliver them to your door." Seeing such service, Shi Qianying no longer refused. After it was over, the three of them were ready to go home. However, when they arrived at the entrance of the mall, they saw Wang Xili waiting there with a livid face. When she saw Shi Qianying coming out, she immediately ran over like a shrew and screamed, "You bitch, finally. Come out, your wild man dares to hit me, I must teach you a lesson today." Unexpectedly, Wang Xili would not let go and was waiting here. Ji Wufeng said coldly, "If you dare to hit you once, I will hit you a second time. Do you believe it or not?" At this moment, a sports car drove over quickly, and a young man wearing brand-name clothes got out of the car. Wang Xili immediately ran over and hugged his arm, saying with a grieved face, "My dear, it's this poor guy who beat me. If you kill me, you have to take it out on me." When the young man saw Ji Wufeng, he was stunned and said, "Ji Wufeng." Ji Wufeng also frowned slightly. He knew this young man named Gao Xinghua, the eldest son of the Gao family in Yulio. Although the Gao family was not as good as the four major families, it was also a first-class family in Yulio. The Gao family once had a brief cooperation with Tianxiang group that ended on bad terms, so the two met. "I didn't expect it to be a loser like you. You are so talented that you dare to touch even the women of my high-tech country." Gao Xinghua sneered. "It's her fault." Ji Wufeng raised his head and said, "Even if there is something wrong with her, do you, a bankrupt loser, have the qualifications to teach her a lesson?" Gao Xinghua said angrily. Ji Wufeng's eyes turned cold, and Shi Qianying felt his emotional change and quickly said, "Xinghua, it's all my fault and has nothing to do with Xiaofeng." "Xiaoying." Gao Xinghua was very surprised to see Shi Qianying. Wang Xili quickly stepped forward and said, "Dear, have you seen it? I pretended to be noble in front of you at first, but now I'm in another man's bed." Ji Wufeng was also a little surprised and asked Shi Qianying, "You two know each other?" Shi Qianying said sadly, "He was my boyfriend before." Gao Xinghua did date Shi Qianying for a period of time before. In the beginning, Gao Xinghua could be said to be polite and caring about Shi Qianying, but Shi Qianying was too conservative. The most intimate behavior between the two it's just holding hands. When Shi Qianying's mother became seriously ill, she asked Gao Xinghua for help. Gaoxingguo finally showed his ugly face and said that only when two people go to bed can they be considered real boyfriend and girlfriend. Otherwise, he has no obligation to help Shi Qianying. After Shi Qianying refused, Gao Xingguo actually wanted Bawang to take the bow, but in the end he let her run away. It was for this reason that Wang Xili had the opportunity to become a woman from the high-tech country. If Shi Qianying was still here, the high-tech country would not even look at her. Wang Xili was waiting here specially and called Gao Xingguo here. In fact, she wanted to show off to Shi Qianying and let her know that her former man now belonged to her. Gao Xingguo's eyes were full of anger and he said, "Bitch, you were so kind to you at first and you refused to let me touch you, and then you ended up in someone else's bed in the blink of an eye." Shi Qianying looked angry and said, "Xingguo, we were friends before anyway, so don't speak too harshly." Gao Xingguo snorted coldly, "Did I say it wrong? It wasn't long after we broke up, and you followed this loser. Don't say you didn't do it for money. You are going too far. Things are not what you think at all. Xiaofeng, let's go." Shi Qianying didn't want to face Gaoxingguo anymore and wanted to leave, but Wang Xili stopped her and sneered, "Why are you leaving? Are you afraid that after we expose your scandal, your current man will no longer want you? I gave you money for free before. I thought you really didn't like money. Now it seems that you think I didn't pay you enough, so you found a bigger guy, right?" Gao Xingguo looked at Ji Wufeng and sneered, "But you deserve your bad luck. Do you think you found a young master from Tianxiang Group? But I tell you that Tianxiang Group will go bankrupt soon, and he will become a pauper soon, and you won't be able to make a single profit by then. Even so, it has nothing to do with you." Shi Qianying said coldly. Gao Xingguo chuckled and said, "Why, it has nothing to do with me. You just want money. He can't give it to you, but I can. If you think I gave less before, I can add more money. You don't have to worry that I will dislike you. Even if you become his woman now, I will still be very interested in you." Wang Xili's expression immediately changed and she said, "My dear, how could you do this to me?" Gao Xingguo snorted coldly, "Humph, who do you think you are? I only want you because there are no women around me. Apart from being a little more open-minded than Xiaoying, how are you any better than her?" After finishing speaking, Gao Xingguo said to Shi Qianying, "Did you see that? I have dumped her. Come back with me now. Even if I am no longer interested in you and dump you, you can still make a lot of money." "You." Shi Qianying was shaking with anger and her face was pale. In fact, she had some feelings for Gao Xingguo before, otherwise she would not get along with him, but she never thought that the person she liked before would be so dirty and despicable. "Idiot." Ji Wufeng on the side finally spoke, "There are many scumbags, but being able to make a scumbag to this extent is really the best." Gao Xingguo was stunned and said, "What did you say? Did not hear clearly." "If you didn't hear me clearly, I'll say it again. I said you're a fool." Ji Wufeng deliberately prolonged the word idiot. "You are really talented. Do you think you are still the young master of Tianxiang Group? I guarantee that when you go bankrupt you will be worse than dead." Gao Xingguo said coldly. Chapter 52 Seizing the Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That will have to wait until I go bankrupt. Ji Wufeng said calmly. Gao Xingguo suddenly laughed ferociously and said, "Maybe you don't know yet, but those people who cooperated with Tianxiang Group before actually wanted to take advantage of your mother, including my father, but that old bitch is too good at pretending. Wait until Tianxiang as soon as the group goes bankrupt." Snap. Before Gao Xingguo could finish his words, Ji Wufeng slapped him hard with a big mouth, and the blow was so heavy that Gao Xingguo fell to the ground. "How dare you hit me, you loser, ah!" Before Gao Xingguo could get up, he screamed like a pig, and Ji Wufeng stepped forward and stepped on his palm. "No matter how stupid you are, I don't care too much, but you shouldn't insult my mother. You are lucky today, but next time, I want you to die." Ji Wufeng's eyes were full of cold murderous intent. He exerted force on his feet, and there was a sound of bones breaking. Gao Xingguo's palm was crushed by him. He did not allow anyone to harm Qin Yi. If it were not for Ji Yanran's presence, he would have killed Gao Xingwa even in full view of the public. Wang Caili ran over and shouted, "Dear, what's wrong with you?" "Security, security." Gao Xingwa howled loudly. The security captain immediately rushed over with a group of security guards and said, "What happened?" Gao Xingwa pointed at Ji Wufeng and said, "Did he hit me? He wanted to kill me just now. Catch him quickly." The security guard at the door knew Ji Wufeng and hurriedly whispered to the leading security captain. The security captain looked at Ji Wufeng and said seriously, "I'm sorry, this is your personal grudge. If you want to fight, please leave here. I am Gao Xingwa from the Gao family, and my father is Gao Mingxin. Catch him quickly." Gao Xingwa roared. Ordinary people would not dare not give the Gao family face, and since there was still 100,000 yuan left, these security guards should arrest Ji Wufeng and destroy him immediately, but the security captain said with contempt, "Idiot." Gao Xingwa was stunned immediately. He had already revealed his identity. These little security guards should have come over and knelt and licked him immediately. But instead of kneeling and licking him, they instead called him a fool. Are they crazy? There are idiots every year, but there are so many this year. Let's go. Ji Wufeng shook his head and turned around to leave. Gao Xingwa looked at Ji Wufeng's back with an expression that looked like he could eat people. He took out his phone and dialed the number and said in a ferocious voice, "Get over here right now, I've been beaten. Today is the weekend, and there is a lot of traffic in the shopping mall. After waiting for a long time, I couldn't find a taxi." At this moment, a van drove over, and a few big men with fierce looks rushed out of it. Gao Xingwa chased him out, pointed at Ji Wufeng and said fiercely to those big men, "That's him, kill him." Several big men immediately surrounded Ji Wufeng and the three of them, and said in a ferocious voice, "You little bastard, you dare to hit even young Master Gao. I think you don't want to live anymore." Shi Qianying was nervous for a while and stepped forward to Gao Xingwa. "Gao Xingwa, do you really want to get things done?" "Bitch, it's all your fault. Let me take care of her too." Gao Xingwa said angrily. A big man stretched out his hand to grab Shi Qianying, but Ji Yanran jumped out and shouted, "Don't touch Sister Xiaoying. You little bastard, get out of here." The big man raised his palm and slapped it on Ji Yanran's cheek. Ji Wufeng's eyes were full of murderous intent, but just when he was about to take action, there was a sudden roar and he saw a figure rushing over like a cheetah. Boom! The big man, who weighed 200 kilograms, was knocked straight out and fell to the ground without getting up for a long time. Everyone was stunned, including Ji Wufeng. The one who took action was actually the stupid beggar who didn't want any money but just food. Ha! After knocking the big man away, the beggar raised his head and looked at Shi Qianying, then at Ji Yanran, and grinned stupidly. The big man who was knocked away screamed in pain and yelled, "Asshole, you guys kill him." The few remaining big men immediately rushed towards the beggar, but the beggar grabbed a big man's arm and swung it hard. Everyone was stunned. The strong man weighing more than 200 kilograms was actually swung directly by him with one hand. "Stand up!" Then with a forceful swing, the strong man flew out and hit several other strong men. They immediately staggered around and wailed, and no one could get up. Hiss. Someone gasped, "Oh my God, this beggar looks so skinny, but he is too strong, right?" It's simply terrifyingly big. Ji Wufeng raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect that this beggar was actually a person with natural divine power. This kind of person's physique is usually gifted and different from ordinary people. If he is given the appropriate cultivation method, once he grows up, he will become a humanoid weapon. Haha. After defeating the big man, the beggar ran to Shi Qianying and Ji Yanran again, smiling stupidly. Ji Yanran was stunned for a moment and then asked, "Did you want to protect us just now?" The beggar just smiled stupidly and didn't answer. Shi Qianying was moved and said, "Thank you." The beggar looked at Shi Qianying, then stretched out his stained hand, wanting to touch Ji Yanran's head, but before he touched it, he quickly took it away, as if he was afraid that he would dirty Ji Yanran's head. Suddenly, a cold aura spread from the beggar's body, and his dull eyes burst out with sharp and terrifying gazes, and he glanced around, then turned and left. At that moment, Ji Wufeng finally understood what was going on. He had long noticed that there was something strange about this beggar, but he didn't expect that he actually wanted to use the body to resurrect his body. After a person dies, the soul leaves the body. Under normal circumstances, it will dissipate between heaven and earth after wandering for a period of time. However, some souls are too obsessed with it and survive by relying on their strong willpower. If they absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, they will become ghosts. This was the case for Ji Wufeng back then, but he was lucky enough to accidentally enter the world of cultivation. The more spiritual energy a ghost absorbs, the more powerful it will become. It can affect people's sanity, and even invade the human body, devour the soul, seize the body, and borrow the body for rebirth. This is the case with this beggar. Because of his natural power and powerful body, he is the best choice for those who are powerful. He is now in a daze and confusion because most of his soul has been devoured by Li Pa. After a while, his soul will be completely devoured, and then he will become a completely different person, but it's a pity that the beggar has gone far away, otherwise we would have to find out what happened. The security guard ignored him, and the thugs called by Gao Xianguo were also killed by the strange man, and immediately prepared to run away. Ji Wufeng didn't bother to care about him. It was too easy to deal with a guy like this. Chapter 53 Specially come to give money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Back in the car, Wang Xili was extremely worried and said, "My dear, is your hand okay? Let me see. Some women are just mean." Gao Xinghua had already wanted to dump her just now, but she still clung to him like a plaster. His bones were all broken. When he was touched by Wang Xili, the pain was excruciating. Gao Xinghua screamed, then kicked him over and cursed, "Look, let me see your mother's head, hurry up. Drive me to the hospital." Okay, don't be angry, I'll take you to the hospital right away." Gao Xinghua's eyes were full of overwhelming resentment, and he said, "Ji Wufeng, you damn waste, one day I will make your life worse than death, as well as that bitch Shi Qianying, including that old bitch Qin Yi and that little don't let the bastard go." At this moment, he wanted to kill Ji Wufeng's whole family. Sitting in the taxi, Shi Qianying kept her head down and refused to speak. She looked very nervous. Ji Wufeng asked, "What's wrong?" "It's all my fault. I didn't know that Gao Xinghua was such a person." "Don't be angry with me, okay?" Shi Qianying said with red eyes. She was afraid that Ji Wufeng would look down upon her because of her previous interactions with Gao Xinghua. Ji Wufeng smiled and said, "I know people, but I don't know their hearts. I've also misjudged people, but it's a good thing that you can find out in advance that he is trash. At least you won't regret it after being hurt by him. It's much better." Shi Qianying felt relieved when she saw that he didn't look angry at all, but came to comfort her. After Ji Wufeng finished his training the next day, the jade stones sent by the Qin family had been used up, but he did not intend to let the Qin family continue to send them. His cultivation level had further improved. Ordinary jade stones were of no use anymore. They could only be used to increase spiritual energy of jade. He dialed Qin Chihang's phone number and asked, "Where can I find a large amount of high-grade jade?" "Brother Feng, if you want high-grade jade, the Qin family has it," Qin Chihang said immediately. "Tell me where to find it first. If I really can't find it, I'll ask you for help." Although the Qin family has high-grade jade, they are in business after all. If they emptied their warehouses, wouldn't they cut off their livelihood? You can find them at jade auctions, but the prices are very high and the quantities are not very large. Qin Chihang said. "It doesn't matter, let me go and take a look first." "Where is the place? When will there be an auction?" The jade auction house is also controlled by the Qin family. The address is actually on the top floor of Gambling Stone Square, and there is an auction tonight. As soon as Ji Wufeng arrived at Gambling Stone Square, he couldn't help but feel itchy hands. He had won several millions from Qin Chihang before. Should he do it again to make some money so that he could buy something at the auction later? But considering that the Qin family has always responded to requests these days, it would be a bit too unkind to do so. Just when he was about to go upstairs, a young man and woman walked in. When they saw Ji Wufeng, they screamed in a high voice, "It's you, you loser!" Ji Wufeng turned around and saw that they were really enemies. It was Gao Xingwa and Wang Caili. Yesterday, Gaoxingguo suffered a big loss at the hands of Ji Wufeng. Zheng was gritting his teeth in hatred. He didn't expect to encounter him again so soon. Oh, it turns out you are an idiot. Is something wrong? Ji Wufeng squinted his eyes and said. You, just wait, I promise to let you know how miserable the consequences will be if you offend me. Gao Xingwa's expression wanted to eat Ji Wufeng immediately, but he didn't dare to cause trouble here in the Chen family's territory. Wang Caili said sarcastically, it seems that I have to give some advice to the Chen family security system. If such a pauper is allowed in, can he afford to gamble? Whether I can afford to bet or not is none of your business. Ji Wufeng glared. Gao Xingwa sneered, of course it's none of our business. If you can afford to gamble, I'm interested in fighting with you. If you can't afford to gamble, then you should get out and don't dirty the eyes of us real VIPs. Gaoxingguo often bets on stones, which can be regarded as some tricks. As for Ji Wufeng, he is just a stupid boy. Where has he ever bet on stones? Most of them came here to see the excitement and see the world. Ji Wufeng's eyes suddenly lit up. He was just wondering how to get some money when this idiot came to his door automatically. Okay, just bet. I'm a genius gambler. If anyone dares to bet with me, I guarantee that he will take off his pants if he loses. Ji Wufeng rolled up his sleeves and coaxed. The people on the side couldn't help but laugh. This was the first time that the genius stone gambler had heard of it. Looking at Ji Wufeng's movements and expressions, he clearly looked like a young man with high spirits. He didn't look like a master of stone gambling at all. Sure enough, Gao Xingwa thought that Ji Wufeng had been fooled and couldn't wait to say, in that case, let's start choosing stones. Wait a minute, let's talk about the rules first. Ji Wufeng said, this was his second time betting on stones. He was afraid that the rules were different from Qin Shihang's, so he asked one more question. As soon as these words came out, everyone felt that he was an amateur even more, and someone immediately said, little brother, the rule is that the winner will be determined by the value of the green played by both parties. The loser will not only return the green played to the opponent, but also pay compensation for both sides played green. The total value of green. Why are you betting if you don't even understand the rules? Let's go. Betting on stones is something that most people can't afford. A kind-hearted old man whispered to Ji Wufeng, little brother, this high-tech country has some tricks. If you don't understand, forget it. Gao Xingwa chuckled and said, if you don't want to bet, get out now. If you want to bet, I will choose the stone. Ji Wufeng curled his lips and said, since you are so anxious to honor me and give me money, then I will do it for you. Humph, wait a minute, if you can't afford to pay, I will make your life worse than death. Gao Xingwa snorted coldly and started choosing stones. The rules of gambling on stones are similar to those on the gambling table. If you are willing to accept defeat, if the loser cannot pay, let alone the high-tech country, the Chen family will not agree. There are many people who cheat when they lose in gambling stone square, but the final outcome can range from broken hands and feet to the death of their families. Gaoxingguo did have some discernment and was interested in a rough stone with a price tag of 200,000 yuan. After Ji Wufeng looked at it, he found that there was jade hidden in it, and the value should be high. However, the higher the green status of high-tech, the better. In the end, it all belongs to Ji Wufeng anyway. Ji Wufeng also chose a piece with a price tag of only 90,000 yuan. It also contained jadeite. Although it was much smaller, the aura was more than twice that of the high-tech country. Seeing that Ji Wufeng only chose a rough stone worth 90,000 yuan, Wang Caili said contemptuously, if you can't afford the money, don't come here to gamble on stones. It's really embarrassing. Gao Xingwa sneered, if you don't have money to buy a better rough stone, I can lend it to you, as long as you kneel down and learn how to bark a few times. Ji Wufeng rolled his eyes and said, you are a fool and you still don't admit it. Betting on stones is not about betting on the size of the stone, it is about betting on who can get the green one with the highest value. Gao Xingwa's face turned pale and he said, I'll let you be arrogant for a little while longer, Master Jisher. The master of dissecting the stone came over with a jade knife and carefully dissected the stone. The onlookers immediately shouted, it's green, it's green. Ji Wufeng was not mistaken. It turned green. It was a piece of top-grade jade. After evaluation, it turned out green. Worth $500,000. The value has more than doubled, and he caught it at a glance. He is already considered a master in stone gambling. It's your turn. Gao Xinghua laughed ferociously and said, you have to think carefully. If you lose later, you will have to compensate me 500,000 yuan. If you don't have the money to pay, I will let you crawl out. But if you kneel to me now, if you kowtow and admit defeat, I can let you go. Chapter 54. I don't want your pants. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ji Wufeng was too lazy to pay attention to him, but said to Master Jieshe, Master, please Jieshe. Master Jieshe looked at Ji Wufeng's stone, frowned and said, little brother, just admit defeat before it's too late. The rough stones have been evaluated by professional jade masters. The lower the price, the lower the chance of being green. The jade master obviously doesn't think highly of Ji Wufeng, not only the master of stone interpretation, but also some of the onlookers shook their heads slightly. Among them, some experts in stone gambling did not think that Ji Wufeng's stone could turn green, and even if it turned out to be worth more than the high-tech country, Ji Wufeng said unhappily, that won't work. If I give up, who will compensate me? Solve it. Master Jieshe picked up the jade knife and cut it at will. Suddenly a dazzling green light burst out, and everyone's eyes widened. It's really green. Looking at the luster, it could be that it's an old trick, right? That the master of stone cutting was also stunned. He began to use the knife carefully. After all the stone skin was cut, a piece of almost translucent jadeite with green light appeared. He's really an old trickster, someone screamed, the Laoking jadeite is the best among jadeites. Although it is much smaller than the jadeite from the high-tech country, the value of jadeite of one grade differs several times or even dozens of times. Gao Xinghua's face was gloomy, knowing that he was destined to lose, but Wang Caili curled her lips and said, such a small one is definitely not worth much. Snapped. Fuck, shut up. Gao Xinghua became so angry that he stretched out his hand and slapped Wang Caili on the face. Wang Caili covered her face and felt extremely aggrieved, but she did not dare to speak anymore. After appraisal, Ji Wufeng's old piece of land was worth 1.5 million. Gaoxingguo had to pay 1.5 million, and with both sides cheating, Ji Wufeng won a total of 3.5 million. Haha, what good luck. I spent 90,000 yuan and earned more than 3 million yuan. It seems that I am really a fucking genius. Ji Wufeng clapped his thighs, grinning from ear to ear with joy. Although Ji Wufeng won, he was too excited and did not look like a mature and prudent stone gambler at all. It made people think that he was just lucky just now. The corners of Gao Xinghua's mouth twitched and he said, don't be too proud. We'll come back when we have the guts. Come as soon as you come, but you have to pay me the money first. I'm afraid you'll end up losing the money later. Ji Wufeng said. Gao Xinghua's face was ashen as he handed the money to Ji Wufeng and said, I'll make you spit it out with interest later. After seeing the money arrive, Ji Wufeng smiled happily and said, let's agree first. If you lose later and have no money to pay, I don't want your pants. Gao Xinghua snorted and began to choose stones. This time he focused on the expensive rough stones, and finally chose a rough stone worth up to 1 million. Seeing this rough stone, everyone started talking and saying, I chose this rough stone, it must be green. Ji Wufeng took a look and saw that the spiritual energy in this stone was very rich. He could faintly see the spiritual light through the stone skin, so a gem must be found. Master, I also like this stone, what should I do? Ji Wufeng asked. Master Jieshe said, this is easy to do, just bid, the one with the highest price will win. Okay, I'll pay 1.01 million. Ji Wufeng said with a smile. Gao Xinghua snorted coldly and said, I will pay 1.5 million. 1.5 million. 2 million. 2 million and 1 million. Ji Wufeng only increased the price by 10,000 yuan each time, which was really abominable. Gao Xinghua said in anger, 3 million. Ji Wufeng chuckled and said, I can't afford it, this stone belongs to you. If you can't afford it, don't show off here. Gao Xingua said proudly. Ji Wufeng glanced at it and finally selected a stone worth 200,000. Everyone immediately observed Ji Wufeng's rough stone and agreed that it should turn green, but its value would definitely not exceed that of the high-tech country. Master, solve the stone, Gao Xingua said impatiently. Master Jiesa's sword struck down, and green light suddenly lingered. At that moment, the spiritual energy in the surrounding air increased at least several times, which was shocking. Gao Xingua was immediately excited, but when the second knife went down, he almost jumped up. I only heard someone shouting, this luster is imperial green. That's right, what is cut out by the National High-Tech Zone is imperial green, which is the best among jadeite. After evaluation, this piece of imperial green was worth 5 million. If it were based on the previous rough price of 1 million, it would have increased 4 times. Some people are beating their chests. They have been eyeing this rough stone for a long time, but because the price was too high, they have never made a move. Now they regret it very much. Wang Caili was also very excited and said to Ji Wufeng, it's your turn, hurry up and unravel the stone. At this time, Gao Xinggua's eyes showed fierceness, and he said to the security guard of Gambling Stone Square, prepare the knife for me. If he can't afford to pay 1 million for each hand and foot, you can decide what to do. This is the rule of the stone gambling house. If the loser cannot pay, he must use his hands and feet to pay off the debt. At this time, some people couldn't bear it and said, I think it's better to forget it. It's better to dissolve enemies than to make knots. This stone won't be solved. No one thought that Ji Wufeng's stone could cut jade worth 5 million, and he was a sure loser. Considering that Ji Wufeng is just a teenager, he probably won't be able to afford 5 million. And he won't be able to pay the money when the time comes. If the high-tech country wants Ji Wufeng's hands and feet, Gambling Stone Fong will have no choice but to comply. Wang Caili said angrily, shut up, what do you have to do here? Gao Xingua chuckled and said, it's not impossible if you want me to let you go. Kneel down and admit your mistake, then cut off your right hand, and you can leave. Ji Wufeng was too lazy to pay attention to him and said, Master, unscramble the stone. Wang Caili looked sinister and said to the security guard, be prepared. If his hands and feet are not strong enough, I will cut off his ears and gouge out his eyes. The most poisonous woman's heart. Wang Caili was too cruel. Master Jie sighed and raised his knife to cut it. A red light burst out. It's gone up again, but this luster, is it dragon blood stone? Dragon's blood stone is a red gemstone. Legend has it that it is a gemstone formed by dripping the blood of a dragon on the stone. Wearing it on the body can strengthen the body and prevent all diseases. After another slash, someone exclaimed, oh my god, it's really a dragon blood stone. 5 years ago, someone cut out a dragon's blood stone here, worth 8 million. This dragon blood stone is much bigger than that one. That's right, what was cut out was the dragon blood stone. Someone said to Ji Wufeng on the spot, little brother, sell it to me, I'll pay 10 million. I'll pay 15 million. If you don't have any money, get out of here. I'll give you 20 million. Ji Wufeng only knew that the dragon blood stone was a good thing, but he didn't expect that it was worth 20 million. He smiled and said to Gaoxingguo, young Master Gao, I am willing to admit defeat. Thank you for the 20 million. I just said it, if you can't pay, I don't want your pants. Plop. Gao Xinggua's eyes darkened and he almost vomited blood. Although he had a rich family, just 20 million would still break his bones. Honey, what's wrong with you? Wang Caili shouted, boom. Gao Xingua kicked Wang Caili to the ground, then rushed over and kicked and punched her fiercely. I bought a watch last year, bitch, it's all your fault, I will kill you. This at that time, the stone master said to Ji Wufeng, little brother, I suggest you wait and put the dragon blood stone at auction. The value will definitely not be less than 30 million. Chapter 55 Pretty Boy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ji Wufeng's eyes lit up and he said, well, let's put it up for auction. The more expensive the price, the better. Anyway, there are still people who will lose money, double the amount. When Gao Xinghua heard this, he immediately rolled his eyes and almost fainted from anger. After Ji Wufeng handed over the dragon blood stone to Master Jieshi, he went upstairs and would settle the accounts with Gao Xinghua after the auction was over. When they got to the auction venue on the top floor, Chen Qihang immediately greeted him. He already knew what happened at Gambling Stone Square and said, "Brother Feng, you have made such a big deal from Gaoxingguo, isn't it great?" Ji Wufeng smacked his lips and said, "I've been short of money lately and I'm embarrassed to attack you, so that fool deserves his misfortune. But then again, if he dares to default on his debt, I'll blame you. Brother Feng, don't worry. Let alone Gaoxingguo, even if his father, Gao Mingxin, comes, he won't dare to default on his debt, unless he doesn't want to hang out in Yulio anymore." Chen Qihang patted his chest and said, "Please stay away from me. I'm expecting a few idiots to give me money. If you're following me, who would dare to come?" Ji Wufeng waved his hand, "Only by pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger can you take advantage." If Gao Xinghua had known about Chen Qihang's relationship with him from the beginning, he would have been beaten to death without even daring to provoke him. "Well, I have prepared a VIP lounge for you. If you are tired, you can go in and take a rest." After driving Chen Qihang away, Ji Wufeng wandered around alone and found that the 6th floor was very large, similar to the layout of a cinema. In front of several rows of seats was a table with many jade stones placed on it. The items that can be auctioned are indeed good things. Ji Wufeng found that these jade stones are full of spiritual energy. It would be great if they were used for cultivation. Suddenly Ji Wufeng raised his eyebrows and came to a display cabinet, staring at a piece of milky white dragon-shaped jade inside the glass cover, Dragon Chi Stone. The Dragon Chi Stone itself has no spiritual energy, but if it is activated by true energy, it can absorb a large amount of spiritual energy from heaven and earth and store it inside. Having a Dragon Chi Stone is equivalent to carrying a small spiritual vein on your body, so it is also called a small spiritual vein. It is a priceless treasure even in the world of cultivation. Ji Wufeng was very excited and wanted to get this Dragon Chi Stone no matter what. "Sir, are you interested in this Dragon Chi Stone?" A pleasant voice sounded behind Ji Wufeng. Ji Wufeng looked back and saw a woman in her 30s standing behind him. She was tall and plump, with a face as delicate as the bright moon. She was dressed in a black dress that made her fair skin even more dazzling and shiny. She was such a peerless beauty. "Ah. Some interest." Ji Wufeng nodded. "Then will you buy it later?" The woman in black looked surprised. Ji Wufeng frowned and said, "Isn't this Dragon Chi Stone yours?" The woman in black nodded and said, "Yes, this is my family's heirloom. If I wasn't in a hurry to use the money, I wouldn't put it up for auction." "How much do you want?" Ji Wufeng asked. 20 million. The woman in black told the price, her eyes full of hope and even pleading. Ji Wufeng was stunned. This Dragon Chi Stone was worth even 200 million to him. Only 20 million was really a bargain, but if you think about it carefully, although this Dragon Chi Stone is a priceless treasure for cultivators, it is indeed of no use to mortals without true energy. Seeing Ji Wufeng froze there, the woman in black thought that he thought it was too expensive, and quickly said, "If you think it is expensive, the price can be negotiated." At this moment, a strange and discordant voice came in, and said with a sinister smile, "Hua Yuzhen, you want to turn over a rotten stone? Stop dreaming, I advise you to be obedient and hand over your company shares to me." Turning around, I saw a man with oily hair and pink face walking over with an alluring woman in his arms. Hua Yuzhen's expression suddenly changed and she said coldly, "Ma Changlin, what are you doing here?" Ma Changlin chuckled and said, "Yuzhen, we are still husband and wife. How can I not follow my husband when you appear here? Don't forget, we are getting divorced soon." Hua Yuzhen said with disgust on her face. "As long as I don't sign for one day, we will still be husband and wife." Ma Changlin said. "Couple." Hua Yuzhen looked at the woman next to Ma Changlin and sneered, "You really care about our relationship as husband and wife?" Ma Changlin pinched the charming woman's waist hard and said with a lewd smile, "You are like a dead fish in bed every day, you have no interest at all." I will find a woman who can make me happy to fulfill your obligations. You should. It's only right to thank her. You are shameless. Hua Yuzhen pointed at Ma Changlin with a trembling finger. Ma Changlin's face turned pale and he said coldly, let me tell you, if you want to divorce me, you must either give me 50 million, or give me half of the Hua family's shares, otherwise, don't expect me to sign. Don't worry, I will definitely give you the money, but if you want shares in the Hua family, don't even think about it. Hua Yuzhen said angrily. Ji Wufeng heard that Hua Yuzhen and Ma Changlin were married, and they were getting divorced. Because the property had to be divided, if Hua Yuzhen couldn't get the money, she would have to give up the shares of the Hua family. In order to keep the shares, I had to sell the dragon energy stone passed down from my family. Ma Changlin looked at Ji Wufeng with a threatening look in his eyes. Brother, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. It's not worth it for a broken stone. Ji Wufeng could tell that Ma Changlin was afraid that he would ruin his good deeds by actually buying the dragon chi stone. Who is your brother? My mother couldn't have given birth to such a shameless thing like you. Ji Wufeng glanced at Ma Changlin sideways, and then said to Hua Yuzhen, don't worry, I will definitely take a picture of your dragon chi stone later. When Hua Yuzhen heard this, she was overjoyed and said, is it true? Ma Changlin immediately became angry and said, okay, no wonder you are in a hurry to divorce me. It turns out you secretly raised a pretty boy outside. Don't talk nonsense, I have nothing to do with him. Hua Yuzhen said. It doesn't matter. If he hadn't been your pretty boy, would he have spent 20 million to buy your stone like a fool? Ma Changlin said ferociously, indeed, the dragon chi stone is of no use to mortals. Hua Yuzhen has found many buyers who think it is not worth 20 million at all. Now that Ji Wufeng is willing to buy it, it is really puzzling. Hua Yuzhen was speechless. Ma Changlin looked at Ji Wufeng with a lustful expression and said, brother, I know what you are planning. Even though she looks like a top-notch beauty on the surface, she is actually as boring as a dead fish in bed. It's not worth spending 20 million for a dead fish. Even after living for thousands of years, this was the first time Ji Wufeng saw such a dirty and despicable person talking about his wife like this. Chapter 19 Revenge. You are listening at ModernDay. Ji Wufeng walked up to Teacher Jiang, bent down and bowed. Teacher, I think there is no need for me to stay in school now, but I will take the college entrance examination on time. If anything happens, call me and I will come over. With his grades, he really doesn't need to stay in school. He won't learn anything anyway, so he can just take the college entrance examination. Teacher Jiang was still in the fog and muttered, well, good. Under everyone's astonished gaze, Ji Wufeng walked out of the classroom and headed straight out of the school. At the school gate, Fu Qingling shouted behind Ji Wufeng, hey, wait for me. What are you doing here? Ji Wufeng asked. Fu Qingling said with a smile, you are so proud that you can retake the exam. I have helped you a lot. Should you thank me, that this is true. Although Ji Wufeng had the means to retake the exam, Fu Qingling did speak for him. How do you want to thank me? Ji Wufeng asked. I'm not short of money, so why don't you just pledge yourself to me? We are both famous figures in the school now, so we are a perfect match. Fu Qingling said. TCH, you are really thick-skinned. I am number one in the school, and you are number one from the bottom. How is it a good match? Ji Wufeng rolled his eyes and said. Of course it's a good match. You see, we are both number one. Fu Qingling said. Ji Wufeng turned around and left, saying, just stay somewhere cool. Hey, don't leave. I can give whatever Mei Xue can give you, and I can give whatever she can't. Fu Qingling stopped him. Ji Wufeng said a little funny, then what can you give her that she can't? Fu Qingling straightened her chest and said proudly, look at my hot figure, with the front and back curved. Is there an airport like Mei Xue? Ji Wufeng suddenly had a black line on his head. Although Mei Xue was slender and tall, she was really not as good as Fu Qingling in terms of development. They were both girls, but it was obvious that Fu Qingling was more feminine. Sorry, I'm not interested in things that are too big. they tend to sag. After Ji Wufeng finished speaking, he gave Fu Qingling a slap on the back of his head. Behind him, Fu Qingling was so angry that his nose was almost smoking. He gritted his teeth and said, "Asshole, I don't believe I'm inferior to Maimed Shue." Ji Wufeng didn't go far when he saw Li Hongyu, who had a bandage on his arm and a cigarette in his mouth. He stared at him with a resentful look and said in a ferocious voice, "Trash, I'll see how you die today." It seemed that he had been waiting for Ji Wufeng here for a long time. I saw that 2 vans that had been parked on the roadside opened their doors, and a dozen fierce and strong men got out of the vehicles. However, the leader was a sickly young man, looking at Ji Wufeng with ferocity in his eyes. Said, "Are you Ji Wufeng?" It was obvious that these people must have been brought by Li Hongyu to take revenge on Ji Wufeng. "Do you have a problem with me?" Ji Wufeng said indifferently. The young man laughed ferociously and said, "Someone offers you 100,000 yuan for an arm and a leg." At this time, Fu Qingling followed, smiled at Ji Wufeng and said, "Give you another chance, as long as you are willing to be my boyfriend, I will help you get rid of these people." But Ji Wufeng didn't bother to pay attention to her at all. He shook his head and said to the young man, "It's only 100,000 yuan. You are too cheap." The young man's eyes were filled with fierceness, and he waved his hand and said, "Do it." Immediately, 2 strong men walked towards Ji Wufeng with machetes and said with ferocious smiles, "Boy, I advise you to be more honest and let us cut off your hands and feet so that you can suffer less." It was really cruel. They didn't want to break Ji Wufeng's hands and feet, but directly cut off his hands and feet. If his limbs are broken and can still be reattached, if they are cut off directly, they will be completely disabled. By then, Ji Wufeng will be finished for the rest of his life. Fu Qingling's expression changed slightly, and she turned to Li Hongyu and said, "Li Hongyu, no matter what, we are all classmates. Even if you want to take revenge and teach him a lesson, don't you think it's too much? Don't get me wrong. I'm just here to watch the fun. It has nothing to do with me. I think this loser must have offended someone else and came to take revenge on him." Li Hongyu sneered. "You." Fu Qingling was very angry. He didn't expect Li Hongyu to be so despicable. He said to the young man, "Brother, I am Fu Qingling from the Fu family. Give me a face. Forget it today. If others give you 100,000, I will give you 20. Yuan, how is it?" Ji Wufeng was a little surprised. He could tell that Fu Qingling was sincerely interceding for him and had no other intentions. The rumors that Fu Qingling was vicious and cruel were somewhat untrue. The eldest lady of the Fu family is indeed famous in Yulio. The young man paused for a moment before saying, "But it may not be that weighty in front of me, Qiheng." Fu Qingling was immediately shocked and said, "Are you Qiheng from the Qi family?" Although the 4 major families in Yulio are huge in strength, they are not completely without rivals. For example, the Qi family has a profound background in the world of martial arts. Their influence may not be as good as that of the Fu family, but in terms of political power, they are not afraid of the 4 major families at all. From a large family, this Qiheng is the eldest son of the Yulio Qi family. Others may ask Fu Qingling to score 3 points, but Qiheng has no need to do so. Unexpectedly, Li Hongyu actually found Qiheng. He was determined not to let Ji Wufeng go. "Run quickly, run as far as you can, and don't look back." Fu Qingling whispered to Ji Wufeng, but it was too late. The strong man holding the machete raised his knife and slashed at Ji Wufeng, saying, "Boy, leave an arm first." Li Hongyu on the side had fierceness and excitement in his eyes. This was the result of offending him, sonorous. The strong man's machete slashed down, but there was no blood spattering, and Ji Wufeng's miserable howl was not heard. Instead, there was a sound like the collision of metal. What? Everyone's eyes widened, their mouths opened wide, and their chins almost fell to the ground. Their expressions looked like they had seen a ghost. The machete was caught only a few centimeters away from Ji Wufeng. It was caught between Ji Wufeng's 2 fingers. Isn't this too ridiculous? Isn't it possible that only Lu Xiaofeng in martial arts can do this kind of thing? How could it really exist in reality? there was a coldness in Ji Wufeng's eyes. He twisted his fingers slightly and heard a crisp clang sound. The machete in the strong man's hand was pinched off, leaving only the handle in his hand. Ji Heng looked shocked and shouted, "Come together and chop him down." That immediately, a dozen strong men immediately drew out their machetes, rushed towards Ji Wufeng and chopped with their swords. Ji Wufeng snorted coldly and kicked out. The strong man at the front was sent flying by him. Everyone was dumbfounded again. The strong man weighed at least 200 kilograms. He kicked him away. How big was this? The strength? Ji Wufeng walked up to Teacher Jiang, bent down and bowed. "Teacher, I think there is no need for me to stay in school now, but I will take the college entrance examination on time. If anything happens, call me and I will come over." With his grades, he really doesn't need to stay in school. He won't learn anything anyway, so he can just take the college entrance examination. Teacher Jiang was still in the fog and muttered, "Well, good." Under everyone's astonished gaze, Ji Wufeng walked out of the classroom and headed straight out of the school. At the school gate, Fu Qingling shouted behind Ji Wufeng, "Hey, wait for me." "What are you doing here?" Ji Wufeng asked. Fu Qingling said with a smile, "You are so proud that you can retake the exam. I have helped you a lot. Should you thank me, that this is true." Although Ji Wufeng had the means to retake the exam, Fu Qingling did speak for him. "How do you want to thank me?" Ji Wufeng asked. "I'm not short of money, so why don't you just pledge yourself to me? We are both influential figures in the school now, so we are a perfect match." Fu Qingling said. "Tch, you are really thick-skinned. I am number 1 in the school, and you are number 1 from the bottom. How is it a good match?" Ji Wufeng rolled his eyes and said. "Of course it's a good match. You see, we are both number 1. Fu Qingling said. Ji Wufeng turned around and left, saying, "Just stay somewhere cool. Hey, don't leave. I can give whatever Mei Xue can give you, and I can give whatever she can't." Fu Qingling stopped him. Ji Wufeng said a little funny, "Then what can you give her that she can't?" Fu Qingling straightened her chest and said proudly, "Look at my hot figure, with the front and back curved. Is there an airport like Mei Xue?" Ji Wufeng suddenly had a black line on his head. Although Mei Xue was slender and tall, she was really not as good as Fu Qingling in terms of development. They were both girls, but it was obvious that Fu Qingling was more feminine. "Sorry, I'm not interested in things that are too big, they tend to sag." After Ji Wufeng finished speaking, he gave Fu Qingling a slap on the back of his head. Behind him, Fu Qingling was so angry that his nose was almost smoking. He gritted his teeth and said, "Asshole, I don't believe I'm inferior to Mei Xue." Ji Wufeng didn't go far when he saw Li Hongyu, who had a bandage on his arm and a cigarette in his mouth. He stared at him with a resentful look and said in a ferocious voice, "Trash, I'll see how you die today." It seemed that he had been waiting for Ji Wufeng here for a long time. I saw 2 vans that had long been parked on the roadside opened their doors, and a dozen fierce and strong men stepped out of the vehicles. However, the leader was a sickly young man, looking at Ji Wufeng with a fierce look in his eyes. Said, "Are you Ji Wufeng?" It was obvious that these people must have been brought by Li Hongyu to take revenge on Ji Wufeng. "Do you have a problem with me?" Ji Wufeng said indifferently. The young man laughed ferociously and said, "Someone offers you 100,000 yuan for an arm and a leg." At this time, Fu Qingling followed, smiled at Ji Wufeng and said, "Give you another chance, as long as you are willing to be my boyfriend, I will help you get rid of these people." But Ji Wufeng didn't bother to pay attention to her at all. He shook his head and said to the young man, "It's only 100,000 yuan. You are too cheap." The young man's eyes were filled with fierceness, and he waved his hand and said, "Do it." Immediately, 2 strong men walked towards Ji Wufeng with machetes and said with ferocious smiles, "Boy, I advise you to be more honest and let us cut off your hands and feet so that you can suffer less." It was really cruel. They didn't want to break Ji Wufeng's hands and feet, but directly cut off his hands and feet. His limbs could be reattached even if they were broken, but if they were chopped off, they would be completely destroyed. Ji Wufeng would be finished for the rest of his life. Fu Qingling's expression changed slightly, and she turned to Li Hongyu and said, Li Hongyu, no matter what, we are all classmates. Even if you want to take revenge and teach him a lesson, don't you think it's too much? Don't get me wrong. I'm just here to watch the fun. It has nothing to do with me. I think this loser must have offended someone else and came to take revenge on him. Li Hongyu sneered. You. Fu Qingling was very angry. He didn't expect Li Hongyu to be so despicable. He said to the young man, Brother, I am Fu Qingling from the Fu family. Give me a face. Forget it today. If others give you 100,000, I will give you 20. Juan, how is it? Ji Wufeng was a little surprised. He could tell that Fu Qingling was sincerely interceding for him and had no other intentions. The rumors that Fu Qingling was vicious and cruel were somewhat untrue. The eldest lady of the Fu family is indeed famous in Yulio. The young man paused for a moment before saying, but it may not be that weighty in front of me, Qiheng. Fu Qingling was immediately shocked and said, Are you Qiheng from the Qi family? Although the four major families in Yulio are huge in strength, they are not completely without rivals. For example, the Qi family has a profound background in the world of martial arts. Their influence may not be as good as that of the Fu family, but in terms of political power, they are not afraid of the four major families at all. From a large family, this Qiheng is the eldest son of the Yulio Qi family. Others may ask Fu Qingling to score 3 points, but Qiheng has no need to do so. Unexpectedly, Li Hongyu actually found Qiheng. He was determined not to let Ji Wufeng go. Run quickly, run as far as you can, and don't look back. Fu Qingling whispered to Ji Wufeng, but it was too late. The strong man holding the machete raised his knife and slashed at Ji Wufeng, saying, Boy, leave an arm first. Li Hongyu on the side had fierceness and excitement in his eyes. This was the result of offending him. Sonorous. The strong man's machete slashed down, but there was no blood spattering, and Ji Wufeng's miserable howl was not heard. Instead, there was a sound like the collision of metal. What? Everyone's eyes widened, their mouths opened wide, and their chins almost fell to the ground. Their expressions looked like they had seen a ghost. The machete was caught only a few centimeters away from Ji Wufeng. It was caught between Ji Wufeng's 2 fingers. Isn't this too ridiculous? Isn't it possible that only Lu Xiaofeng in martial arts can do this kind of thing? How could it really exist in reality? There was a coldness in Ji Wufeng's eyes. He twisted his fingers slightly and heard a crisp clang sound. The machete in the strong man's hand was pinched off, leaving only the handle in his hand. Qiheng looked shocked and shouted, Come together and chop him down. Immediately, a dozen strong men immediately drew out their machetes, rushed towards Ji Wufeng and chopped with their swords. Ji Wufeng snorted coldly and kicked out. The strong man at the front was sent flying by him. Everyone was dumbfounded again. The strong man weighed at least 200 kilograms. He kicked him away. How big was this? The strength? Chapter 56 So Despicable. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Snapped. Hua Yuzhen couldn't control it anymore. She rushed over and slapped Ma Changlin on the face, saying angrily, Ma Changlin, you are so obscene and shameless. You stinky bitch, how dare you hit me? Ma Changlin was furious, raised his palm and slapped Hua Yuzhen. Ji Wufeng grabbed his wrist and said, Hey, it's too ungraceful for a man to hit a woman. Fuck you little bastard, you dare to interfere in my business, you go to hell. Ma Changlin raised his foot and kicked Ji Wufeng, but before he could touch Ji Wufeng had already kicked him out. Boom. Ma Changlin flew out like a dead dog, holding his stomach and rolling on the ground several times without getting up. Honey, what's wrong with you? The charming woman ran over and helped him up. Ma Changlin pointed at Ji Wufeng like a mad dog and shouted, You little bastard, I'm going to kill you. Ji Wufeng said with a cold light in his eyes, Get out of here immediately, or I will kill you before you kill me. When he came into contact with Ji Wufeng's cold eyes, Ma Changlin suddenly felt fear from deep inside his heart. He trembled all over, got up and ran towards the door. "Little bastard, just wait for me, we are not done with this matter." Ma Changlin's roar sounded outside the door. Hua Yuzhen's eyes turned red, and she finally covered her face with her hands and squatted on the ground, tears dripping down her fingers. "Are you okay?" Ji Wufeng asked. Hua Yuzhen wiped away her tears, stood up and said, "I'm fine. I'm so sorry because I made you offend that bastard. For a scumbag like this, teaching him a lesson can be regarded as doing good and accumulating blessings." Ji Wufeng smiled. 20 million can buy the dragon chi stone. Ji Wufeng took a huge advantage and helped Hua Yuzhen as compensation. "Then will you take pictures of my dragon chi stone later?" Hua Yuzhen asked. "Of course I can take pictures. I am determined to get your dragon chi stone," Ji Wufeng said. Hua Yuzhen's face was filled with gratitude and she said, "Thank you, Hua Yuzhen, will never forget your kindness." She didn't think Ji Wufeng, a big boy, could see anything extraordinary about the dragon chi stone. He insisted on buying the dragon chi stone just to help her. "Hua Yuzhen. Yuzhen, this name sounds very familiar. Have we met before?" Ji Wufeng thought for a while and said. Hua Yuzhen looked at Ji Wufeng carefully and said curiously, "I also think you look familiar, so tell me your name and see if it sounds familiar to me too." "My name is Ji Wufeng." "Ji Wufeng. You are Xiaofeng." Hua Yuzhen's eyes widened immediately. "You know me?" Ji Wufeng was stunned. Hua Yuzhen smiled and said, "I don't know you, but I have seen your photo in your mother's office." In Qin Yi's office, there are photos of brother and sister Ji Wufeng, which can be seen by anyone who enters. Ji Wufeng understood immediately and smiled. "No wonder it sounds familiar. It turns out you are my mother's friend." Qin Yi also has some friends around her. When Tianxiang Group was in trouble, there was a shortage of funds. Many of her friends came to help. Hua Yuzhen was one of them. Ji Wufeng mentioned her name when Qin Yi was talking on the phone. According to this, it is most likely that Hua Yuzhen had no money to give to Ma Changlin because she lent money to Qin Yi, and was forced to hand over the shares of the Hua family. Hua Yuzhen's expression suddenly became gloomy and she said, "Xiao Feng, Sister Yi is in need of money right now. It's better to forget about the dragon chi stone. Your money should be used to help your mother." Ji Wufeng was a little surprised that he was still looking after his sisters even though he was in such a miserable state, so he wouldn't just let her go. "It's okay. The crisis in Tianxiang Group has passed now, so it won't be a problem," Ji Wufeng said. "Really? Of course it's true, otherwise where would I get the money to squander it?" Ji Wufeng smiled. "That's really great. God finally opened his eyes and allowed Sister Yi to pass this test." Hua Yuzhen's face was filled with joy, and then she blinked and said, "Your mother and I are sisters. In terms of seniority, should you call me Aunt Hua?" Ji Wufeng curled his lips and said, "You are so young and beautiful. If I call you Aunt, wouldn't I call you old?" Hua Yuzhen nodded and said, "That's right. Then I will suffer a little loss. Just call me Sister Hua." "Sister Hua. I took someone else's dragon chi stone, and she is my mother's good sister, so calling her Sister Hua is not a disadvantage." "Good boy, Sister Hua will buy you some candies when you have time, but now I have to go to the bathroom to touch up my makeup." Hua Yuzhen had cried just now and the makeup on her face was all stained. Hua Yuzhen couldn't wait to rush into the bathroom. Ji Wufeng continued to look around to see if there was anything good. Hua Yuzhen walked out of the bathroom without seeing Ji Wufeng, but was blocked by someone. She immediately said angrily, "Ma Changlin, I said I will give you the money. If you bother me again, be careful and I will call the police." Ma Changlin said with a fierce look, "Bitch, I'm not here to find you. Where is that little bastard?" At this time, a young man with a sinister face came up with a group of people, stared at Hua Yuzhen with gleaming eyes and laughed. "Ma Changlin, you don't want such a good horse, what a waste." Ma Changlin curled his lips and said, "Young master, you, although she looks pretty, she is so good at pretending that she has no interest at all." The young man said with disdain, "That's because of your incompetence. If it were me, any chaste and virtuous woman would have to become tasteful." Ma Changlin's eyes suddenly lit up and he said, how can I compare with young Master Yu? If young Master Yu is interested, please help me train him. Hua Yuzhen suddenly looked angry and said, Ma Changlin, you are so shameless, to actually let others train his wife, this kind of person is truly despicable beyond description. Ma Changlin snorted coldly and said, bitch, it's your blessing that Mr. Yu can like you. You don't know what's good for you. The Hengru young man said to Ma Changlin, I'll help you teach that little bastard a lesson. I don't need any reward. I just want your wife to stay with me for a few days. Ma Changlin was overjoyed when he heard this and said, thank you so much, Mr. Yu. I have long lost interest in this bitch, so feel free to play with it. Hua Yuzhen was shocked. He knew that Ma Changlin was despicable, but he did not expect that the degree of despicability was beyond her imagination. If Ji Wufeng was there, he would have recognized this arrogant young man. Last time he teased Qianing at the Royal Court Club, and was finally severely punished by Zhang Jiao. The Hengru young man's name is Yu Shaojia. Like Gaoxingguo, he is a well-known rich young man in Yulio. He is not as good as the four major families, but the family's power is very powerful.